Now all I needed to do was buy a car and get me to California. Well, I figured that buying a car was a cool straight man thing to do, and I wanted to be a straight, cool man, so I dove into this project with gusto. I did all this research, and I found this 1991 Toyota Corolla that was perfect. It fit my budget, it was in great shape, and I was pretty sure I was set. The guy who sold it to me was a nice guy. He used to be a mechanic, but he recently had started making raviolis and selling them to local businesses for lunch. I'd never met a ravioli maker before, but I was excited for him, you know. I guess things were going well. He was nice. He was kind of quiet, kind of like your Northwest Gore-Tex wearing nature guy. He probably kayaked all over the place. He wasn't quite 5 feet tall, and he had this really big, thick beard. Kind of reminded me of, Gimli, that dwarf on Lord of the Rings. And he made ravioli, so he was kind of a nice Northwest Gore-Tex wearing ravioli making dwarf guy, but he was really nice. I liked him. And like I said, he was a mechanic, so he took really great care of this car. It was in great shape. He didn't even want to sell it because his business was doing so well. He had to buy a truck, but he wanted to keep hold of this thing. So, I figured I'd really struck it rich with this thing. Except there's a little problem with the car. It's a big problem, actually. It had the serious B.O. to it. It was nasty. The first time I smelled it, I thought my stomach was going to flip. And I don't mean flip like, Marsha Brady in Love with Davy Jones kind of flip. I mean more like, Mr. Gore-Tex Ravioli Man, I know I just met you, but I'm going to have to puke on your left shoe right now. It was vile. See, the guy had dogs. He had big, hairy, smelly, slobbery dogs. 3 dogs. And their smell permeated every inch of this Toyota. I know, breathe it in. I had to. And, I like dogs. Their smell is all right. I grew up with them, a little dog hair here and there. This was like nasty. It was nasty. And then this mangy, drooly dog smell mixed in with his garlicky tomato smell of the ravioli business. I know. So you were left with rancid Italian food meets local dog kennel on a rainy day. I know. It was like wet, nasty Benji barf. Mr. Ravioli Guy assures me that the smell's going to go away, so I buy the car. It was like several $100s cheaper than anything else I could find, and it was in great shape. Let's drive it home. The smell does not go away. I washed and I washed the inside of that goddamn Toyota. It didn't work. I had to practice driving around with the windows rolled down and breathing through my mouth. Plus, my friends and family kept making excuses so they wouldn't have to get in the car, And those little pine air freshener things? I hung 5 of them on the roof interior of my car. It looked like a little elfin forest. And it didn't work. So I was just left with garlic dog rolls around in a pile of rotting Christmas trees. I was getting desperate, this thing was nasty. Well, then I thought, well, maybe straight men have smelly cars, that's kind of a straight man thing to do. But then I thought, well, what's manly about not being able to see while I drive because my eyes keep watering?